Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pink Table Talk. I am your host, Loria Reed, and we are back with another great episode for us ladies, by us ladies, for the Women of Hope at the House of Hope Atlanta. How are you all doing today? I hope that everything is going well. We have another great show for you all today, and it is Father's Day weekend. We are excited about our dads, and we love the men here at the House of Hope Atlanta, and especially our women. We are so appreciative of our fathers. So today, I've got two great guests from our church, and I know that you are going to absolutely love them. They are great men, and I just can't wait to introduce them. So let me get started. Our first guy, look, you see who we got on here today, y'all. Aren't you excited? This is going to be so much fun. Look, this is energy on steroids right here in this
Oh, it's
black.
on.
And then the guy right here in this Howard shirt, don't let him fool you. He's just like the guy in the
Oh,
black on the inside. But he is such a nice guy. But this gentleman in the beard, he is Jeffrey Fauntleroy. He is the pastor of congregational care at the House of Hope Atlanta. He is married to the lovely Karen. And check this out, you guys. He has three kids, Jeffrey the second, Brittany, and Joel. And he has five grandchildren as young as he looks. So would you all please welcome Pastor
oh.
Fauntleroy with us? He's over our men's ministry. Hey,
Damn.
Pastor.
Hey guys, great to see you. Great to be with you all.
So glad to
It's
have you today. And this gentleman over here in the black, I mean, you got to know him. He works with our youth. He's high energy. He's always himself, which I love about him. I mean, I've never met him and he hadn't had energy. So he works with our youth. He's the pastor of young adults and youth at the House of Hope Atlanta. He is married to the lovely Chastity. They have their sons, Bryson and Jace, and their daughter Haven. So would you guys please welcome Pastor DeMarcus Smith with us? Hello,
What's
Pastor
up,
D.
man? Pink Table Talk. Let's get it already. Let's get it. Let's get it.
I'm so excited. Look at him. He's so funny. But I just want to kind of get into it. I know that
Yeah.
we joke around a lot and we have fun and we joke, but you guys are some great dads. And I can tell from your interaction with young men, Pastor Jeff, and your interaction, Pastor D, with even the children at the church. And we are so grateful for that because sometimes we get these stigmas on Black men. It's like, but we've got really good fathers, even in our church and in society. There are a lot of great fathers out there. So I know Mother's Day, the running joke is Mother's Day, the women get everything. The women are always coming out on top, and we don't do nothing but get t-shirts and draw, and y'all get all
Yep.
the good stuff, the spa treatments or whatnot. So my question to you is, what is one of the most
Mm.
memorable gifts that you've gotten from your children, or something that was given to you or said to you that was just so memorable from your children? And I can start with Pastor Jeff. He's got the five grandchildren as well.
oh man, you know what? It's so funny. They did a video and
Yeah.
they was snuck around the house. I saw them all sneaking around doing stuff periodically. And they did a video and they played it at church when I pastored in Tampa. And oh boy, let me tell you, man, the dust in the place made my allergies act up because I had tears.
Yeah.
It was special, and this happened. Let me see. I've been here 4 years, 5 years. This happened about, oh man, this must have been about 10 years ago. And I still play that tape periodically. It was special and it was genuine. They all pitched in, and it wasn't just my three kids, it was my daughter and her girlfriends. They've all become my children too. So they all pitched in, and it was special. I play that video periodically just to
Wow.
Right.
to get it. It was special.
Oh, that's awesome. What about you, Pastor D?
I ain't been in the game but a little while, so I think the most the most memorable thing I gotten from all three uh, was a book. There was this little book that they had made that had they created themselves as cartoon characters, and the book had each of their names on the cover, and it was just really a book that just kind of talked about them, and I guess how I ultimately inspired them as a father, and how much they love me. And it was really cool. It was really cool to receive it. And I believe I got that maybe 2 years ago. But it's a book that I have. It's in my office. I carry it around. So that's probably the most memorable gift I've gotten, besides those 3 bodies for a long time. So yeah, I would say that would be it.
That's awesome. Really quickly, when you all became fathers for the very first time, what is there something in you, like a responsibility that you feel like, oh my God, I'm really somebody's daddy now? What is the emotion attached to that? Like, what do you feel when I know we always talk to the women, and women say, oh my goodness, I feel this way, and we're very expressive, but a lot of times we don't hear from a male standpoint. What do you feel when you have a child brought into this world?
Everything changed. Everything changed. My firstborn, we were still kind of running around, so to speak, and everything changed like immediately. It was, I've got to become Papa Bear now. I got to become protective. I've got to become the example, and I've got to be it more than say it and speak it. So I went into a mode of, my dad wasn't in the house. I came up with a single mom, and my examples were my uncles, my mother's brothers, but I didn't get to see them in the parental realm because my cousins are older than me. So I got to see the finished product. So I had to draw on other fathers and take what I thought worked for me and put that into play. But on all 3 occasions, all 3 of them were different, but at the same time, I had to become more of an example more than what I say, because I couldn't say one thing and do the other. So what I said had to match what I do. So it was really trial and error. It was trial and error, in all honesty. But the emotion that I felt was, I got to go into protection mode.
Wow. Ooh. Pastor D, what about you? The emotion, what was it? What did you feel?
I was scared. My first son, he scared me to death, because I'm similar to Pastor Jeff, man. I didn't grow up with my pop, so I didn't know him. I didn't have the blueprint to fatherhood, and I call my son, my oldest son, my trial and error kid. I get to apologize every day. I get to let you know, listen, I don't have it all straight, but you are literally my teacher when it comes to this fatherhood thing. Now, my daughter, on the other hand, I broke. Something in me broke internally to where I think I lost testosterone and just became a big softy. Like I cried when she came. Not when my boys came. I was excited but scared, but with my oldest son. But when my daughter came, it hit me in my core, because I was like, I've always heard that if God trusts you with kids, if God trusts you, he'll bless you with kids. But if he really trusts you, he'll bless you with a daughter. And I man, internally, I think I left, because even when I found out I had a girl, my whole facial expression changed. So out of all the births, she was the one that she broke me when she came out, and she's still breaking me 3 years later. So
that's what we do.
There were 2 different experiences. My last baby boy, I think I was prepared. I knew what to expect. I think I got a little in the game, and him, my final son, I think I went like Pastor Jeff, man. it's like as a male, you instantly step into you have a choice. You have a choice of manhood at that moment where
Right.
you can either stay and fight, or you can dip out.
Right.
And dipping out, I had already experienced. So it was my job to reset everything, reset the generation, reset the family line. So as scared as
Right.
I was as becoming a father, I was also excited. I was excited for the
Yeah.
journey to come, knowing that I ain't gonna get all this right. So I get to talk to guys like Pastor Jeff or Dr. Smith,
Yeah.
and I talk to Pastor Jeff faithfully. Like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, Doc. Talk to me. Let me explain this to me. And it helps. It helps. It really lets you. It gives you the confidence. It gives you the reset to really just know that others have been in your shoes before. They done been through it. They've been battle tested. They here, and man, you got it. So I would say out of both of them, she was the one that broke me.
That's something so important, Laria. I don't mean to jump in, but
No,
what he
no,
just
go
said,
ahead.
that talking piece, I mean, that's what helped me. You know, when I came to church, there were four older men that I knew from the community. And I really asked, you know, I leaned on them. Like, I was honest. Like, hey, how do you handle this? What do you do about this? Because I didn't know, but I wanted to know.
Right.
That's the thing. And they were honest with me the same way I'm honest with Pastor D. Hey, man, it's trial and error, and you got to do what works for you in your home and your family and all of those dynamics. You got to learn your children, you got to know your wife, and you got to find your way on with your wife, you know, because you know I can be overbearing, believe it or not, and
Really?
so
Not you.
I had to, you know, I had to find a balance, you know, and I knew that balance was my wife is going to nurture, and she's very creative. And so all of my children are very creative. And I was the encourager, enforcer, but more of the encourager. And the main thing that I learned is we had to be on one accord. If she said,
Yes.
then I said. If I said, then she said. And we did that early, and we worked together, and that's what really worked. But for DeMarcus' point, you got to talk, and you got to talk with somebody that's going to be honest with you, and not try to exploit you.
Is real estate really that important when it comes to financial freedom and building wealth?
Yes, more people, especially when they're younger, need to know the value of owning real estate. You know, we need to own something and build equity for ourselves and for, you know, the generations that come after us. So the answer to that question for me is a yes, a solid yes.
I want you to talk to us about what your experience is like as a millennial in the entertainment industry.
I would honestly say that my gender probably played more of a factor than my age did. She's a female, so she probably don't really know, or she probably can't really, and so then they will just write me off. But we got that together.
my next question about lessons that we learn, and I talk about lessons from my father and things that I learned from him. Being a girl, my dad was a girl dad, and
Right.
you know how we do. We have a wrapped around us because I was the only girl, kind of like with
Yep.
both of you guys have only daughters. So I was in that boat where, if I asked something, I was gonna get it probably. I never
Yep.
went too
Yep.
far, but it wasn't, my brothers always say, yeah, he just do anything for you. Whatever. But look, I call them haters. They're just haters. But anyway, with that being said, what lessons have your children taught you in parenting, and what have you learned from them as fathers? Because children teach you a lot of different things. So I wanted to know what you learned from them, and what is the thing that you want to instill in your children more than anything. So I'm asking a twofold question.
Ooh.
What did you learn from them, and what do you want them to learn from you the most?
Can I go?
I learned.
Because I
Yeah,
know
go ahead,
Doc finna drop them gems. I gotta because I gotta take notes when Pastor Jeff go. I would say I've always told people, like I said earlier, my oldest son has been my greatest teacher with fatherhood. Because I didn't have a direct in-house positive influence. Let me say that I didn't get the full blueprint on the how-to. Now, my grandfather has always been my greatest influence, but he was Pawpaw. He was my grandfather. And so my son, when it's come to being a father, he's been my go-to teacher, where when I'm doing things right, I get to reap the harvest of those seeds planted. Similar to when I mess up, I fall, I'm a little too powerful, I'm a little too enforcing, or I'm a little too heavy on him or hard on him. His earlier years, I was trash because I was trying to do what I thought fathers were supposed to do, be real hard on your sons, and they got to respect you, and they ain't supposed to cry and all of that stuff. And I wound up, his lesson for me was he started breaking, and that's not what I wanted. I don't want to break you. I don't want you to be afraid of me as your father. So he was my greatest teacher, and also being the first to teach me to apologize from father to son and say, look, man, dad ain't perfect. Your dad ain't gonna always have it together. But if I make a mistake, I get to come to you as an older man to a young man and apologize. And it allowed me to be able to teach him along the way while he was teaching me. So my firstborn and my daughter, because she's my first girl, they are my two teachers. My girl, I have not learned that yet. I'm scrambled right now when it comes to her, because it's so many emotions that I as a male were told to shut off or shut down. And so now I'm having to learn how to navigate through emotions. And I'm talking about 1 minute she's happy and she's under my arm, and then the next minute she's crying, and you ask why, and it's I just don't know. I just want a snack. And you just like, but why are you on 10? And then if my voice goes up, she cries harder. So now I've got to control volume. And so I think she's ultimately just been she's tamed the beast when it's come to really being a hard, aggressive, passionate type person like I am. She's the one that gives the balance when it comes to my kids. And then well, there was a second part to that, right? What was the second question?
What do you want them to learn? Yeah, what do you want them to learn from you more than anything?
Oh, I would say that because I was the reset for fathers in my family line, that I hope that I've taught them, if nothing else, to always step up and be and take care of whatever your responsibilities are. So if you have kids or you have any type of responsibility, it's your job to step up and to handle it. And most importantly, it's your job to carry that last name that's on your back of your jersey, or that last name that you write down. It's your job to carry that legacy well. And I told my son before, when he played baseball and he got upset one time and did something on the field, I walked out on the field, stopped the whole practice, and I looked and I said, son, that's my last name that you carry. And you will not tarnish that brand. You will not mess up that brand. I went through all the hell and all the crazy and all the mess ups, and let me take care of that. But as far as you go, you're supposed to elevate this thing and take it to the next level, similar to how my grandfather entrusted me, because it was his last name that I chose to carry on it. And now you're not only taking mine, but you're taking his, and it's your responsibility to take it to the next level. So that would be, I think those are the two lessons that I've really been pushing for all of my kids, because your brand, your name is all you got. It's the biggest thing that you carry. That's what you'll be known for, and you can tarnish and stain it and throw it through the mud, and you'll be known for that. Or you can be that light. You can be that influence that people remember. Man, I remember being around that person, or how they did, or I remember their spirit, or I remember how energized or how polite they were. People remember those things. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's really good. The Pastor
that's
Jeff,
good
what about
stuff.
you?
Well, for me, it was a twofold situation. I learned a lot from what I didn't get from my dad, and that was to support and encourage. Whenever they did anything, I didn't try to talk them out of it. I always told them that if you choose this, we're going to do it correctly, and we're going to talk about all the elements of it. And I want you to know full out what this entails. And if you quit, well, first of all, you can't quit until it's over. Like, you got to do it. You got to you got to go all the way through. And this was in sports. This was in activities in school. It's like, if you listen, I'm gonna support you 100%, but let's go through it and let's talk about the different elements and all the things you got to go through. And we used to have these intense talks at a young age, because I wanted them to know what they were getting into before they got into it, so that they wouldn't get discouraged and then quit, and then think about, man, I wonder what would have happened if I would have continued on with that. So I encouraged them. I supported them. I was at football games, basketball games, baseball games, tennis matches. I got banned from speaking at the tennis matches. My daughter told me that I had to sit in the car. My daughter and my wife told me I had to sit in the car because I used to whistle and I used to give signals, like at my son at the football game. And my daughter, they're playing tennis, and I'm like, no, do this.
Yes, sir.
So they shut me down. But I learned to listen to them. I let them talk. And I also learned that I don't know everything. But what I do know, I know very well. And I will tell you that. I will tell you what I do know very well. And I'll stand on that. But what I don't know, let's find out together. So I always involve them in the process of finding things out about life or what they were doing. Small things. If it was something going on in school, we talked about it. We had table talk where everybody was told to come to the table with a notepad, a piece of paper, and they had to give me, what's going on, where you're trying to go, what went right, what went wrong, and they would write it out and we talk about it. And, we'd have full input. Everybody was allowed to give input to everyone's plans. It got interesting at times, but we allowed that. So I learned to involve them in what we were doing. It wasn't just mom and dad said this, it's mom and dad said this, and this is the reason why. So I learned to listen to them. And we made, I taught them also to make sacrifices early. My oldest son, and that was a difficult situation too, and I'll get with that. But because my oldest son is by a different relationship before I got married, So it was dealing with all of those elements. But we
Mhm.
always, he's always been included in everything that we've done. And so since he was 4 years old,
Mhm.
so we worked that out as best that we could. But we always included him also in the table talks and all the decisions and everything else. It was a family event. But
Right.
I taught them to make sacrifices early for their children. Um, cut out some things now. You're going to have to cut out some things. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. And you do it so
Oof.
later on in life, you can do some of those things. I mean, I'm having the time of my life. I feel like I'm 30 years old again. I'm doing things that I stopped in
Yeah.
my 30s in order to make sure that they had. And now, hey, man, I'm a free bird.
Yes. He's having a ball.
Yes, sir.
I love it. I love it. Well, we brought you onto the women's ministry show. So I gotta ask a question uh about, and I know we sometimes don't ask you this. I'm not saying every woman doesn't, but how as women can we support you as fathers? What are things that we can do to assist you in continuing to be the father that you are to make your job easier? What is it that we
Ooh.
can do as women for you?
Talk, talk, talk,
Mm.
talk about, um, ask the questions. What are you trying to do? What is it you want to do? Get involved with us on the decision, and let's partner as a team. I tell everybody, man, I have been blessed beyond. I don't know how this happened. I still worry about it, but my wife, man, she's easy like Sunday morning, man. Throughout the week, I often
Yes,
ask, "Hey,
sir.
you still with this? You good? You staying?" Because if you leaving, let
Ooh.
me know where we going.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but I think that's the best thing for women to do with their husbands and the father of their children, whatever that situation is. Work together as a team.
Mhm.
Work together as a team. If it didn't work out in a relationship, don't use the child as a tool. That's the worst thing you can do, because if that child sees a gap and that child knows that he can go to one to get something that he can't get from the other, it's going to be a problem for the rest of their life, because they're always going to think that there is an option in life. So work together as a team and talk about, take them to the side and say, "Hey, bro, I saw what you were trying to do, and let's talk about this, because I think I may have something that could help in what it is you're trying to do," and let them be the man.
Most definitely.
Man,
That's awesome advice. What about you, Pastor D?
I think Pastor Jeff he done dropped the bomb. Like he just dropped so many bombs. You got to let it marinate a little bit. Man, I'm sitting here like, dang, yep, I need to do that. Yep. I would say, grace. Continue to give us grace. Um, a lot of us weren't built to be the perfect father or husband. We were all taught through seeing, through picking up from other men and movies and whoever. We just kind of put it all in, threw it together, and we're literally trying and that trial and error, like you said earlier. So I would say give us grace and continue to give us patience, because we are, especially when we talk about emotions, that is an area I think for a lot of males, it's my age younger, the young bucks out there, that break us a lot, is not knowing how to deal with emotions. Because I was taught you can't cry as a young dude. You bet not cry as a young dude. If I see a tear, I'm gonna punch you in your chest or drop kick
Mhm.
you. And so emotions for us were pushing them down and saying that we were okay, and even though internally we were imploding. And so now that we're older, you know, you still got that same male that's 20, 30 years old. That's the only way that we've known how to deal with emotions. And I think the beautiful thing about my wife is she's been the balance and has had the patience and given me the grace to, if I've responded and early in our marriage, if I am exploded, she was able to step back, recognize and say, okay, you done? All right. So now let's figure out a different way to handle this. But that was her way of grace. It was saying, oh, that's something you've been doing all your life. So let's shift that. Let's change that. And even till this day, I mean, it's gotten to a point where I'll catch myself based off of her look or based off of my kids' looks. But it was all because of her grace and her patience at the beginning versus us going toe to toe and her giving up on me. I think I'm in the same boat with Pastor Jeff. Sometimes you got to look at y'all and just be like, you ain't packed your bags yet, eh? You still here. They said forever now. They said forever. So no, but I would say that grace and patience, because we there's a lot of things that us males, man, we have not learned yet, and we're still learning. Yeah. And I think with your rib, your wife, your girl, your lady friend, whoever she is, that perfect balance with grace and patience, man, just really helps us at the end of the day be better, not just for you, not just for the kids, but even better for ourselves. So I would say that.
I work in the #1 cable news network in the #1 market in the nation, and I'm the only full-time African-American woman in my newsroom. Being inspired is really saying that at the end of the day, no matter what's happening in my world or around me, it's bigger than me. I work in the #1 cable news network in the #1 market in the nation, and I'm the only full-time African-American woman in my newsroom. Being inspired is really saying that at the end of the day, no matter what's happening in my world or around me, it's bigger than me.
So really quickly, I was going to ask, what is a practical gift that we could get our fathers? It's so many of us like, what do y'all want? You know, when it's a mom, we can do little stuff. We know they like anything. What do you guys like? What do you want? I know what you don't want, but what do you want? Let's talk about that. What do y'all want?
I got a long list.
You know what? I'm easy, man. I'm easy. You know, I like little practical stuff. I love gardening. You know, I work in the garden. So my last year, my wife got me this little seat that you can sit on, and then you can turn it over, and then you can kneel on, and it has these pockets with these little garden tools, like a little rake, a little a shovel, and all that. Man, that was one of the greatest gifts ever. I mean, I still have it right now. I'm working with it right now. My daughter gave me a knife and a barbecue set, and I honor that thing. I mean, you know, I use that, and my daughter gave me this. My son gave me a cookbook, and I'm still I keep it right next to me, as a matter of fact.
I love it.
So it's little, you know, don't go out and do fancy. You know, one year we just wanted to go out and, you know, I just wanted to go out and have a good time, you know, like Sunday's my birthday, and we're planning that to go out. And then Father's Day, we're gonna do something fancy.
Cool. What about you, Pastor D? What do you think? What do you like to get? We're trying
Ooh.
to get some Father's Day ideas because I know a lot of times we just kind of stick to the same stuff because we like, well, what do you want? What do you like?
Don't get us wrong now. Socks and drawers are perfect. Now, don't get it twisted. Now, we accept those. We just
Yeah,
don't.
we like, huh?
When the drawer gets filled and starts overflowing, then y'all can stop. I would say one thing that my wife has done is she watches very well what I do in my downtime. So like that's where she really, I think, gathers all the ideas. So I love to cook. I love to, like, if I'm playing video games with my son, or now I'm outside mowing grass, doing like stuff like that. So she watches. She has a perfect way of watching what I do in the downtime and adding to that. And then she's also one that just does stuff over and above. So one year for Father's Day, she just said, I want to take you to drive the most exotic cars, and found it somewhere in one of these Atlanta speedway areas and it blew me away because it's something that we as males, we dream about. Man, that's a bad ride. Lamborghini, wish I get that one day. And you actually sitting in it, they let you drive it. So I think just sitting back, watching and man, just making stuff happen, man. She is a beast at doing that. And that was the same year where my daughter decided to say, hey, the same day, hey, hello, I'm entering the world. It was on a day like that. So, but yes,
Wow.
I would say watch us, man. Like how we watch you all, because you know how we do. We can get real secret. We just watch. We watch from afar. We hear the things that y'all say. Oh, I wish I had this, or I like this. And as males, we keep them mental notes. We keep them tabs. And I think you all do the same thing. So as long as you're watching, and if we ever like walking out in the malls or out somewhere and like, man, that's a bad watch, and then we just kind of keep watching, you just take that mental note like that photo right there, and then boom, you just never know. I mean, but I think for most males, man, we don't never expect high-end thousands of dollar type gifts.
Yeah,
It's more so like the things like Pastor Jeff said, like got a grill set from his daughter. That right there, every time he sees that, cooks with that, man, I get to visualize baby girl. So things like that, I think, mean more to us as males than just going out just buying any random thing. So
stuff we can use. I real quick, my wife just brought me because I like to sit and watch the news, and I do my homework and I do my reading. So I'll have all this stuff all over. So she brought me something very simple. It's just a little cart that slides underneath of the couch so that it's long and I can have all my stuff right there.
Yes, sir. She was watching.
Like, yeah. And it's got a little drawer where I got pens and markers and all that stuff. I'm like, this is amazing, man. So something simple like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome.
That's it.
It sounds to me like, and I'm just going to have to put it on out there, that the women in your lives, Karen and Chastity, are just the bomb. They are the best.
Absolutely.
I just had to go ahead on and put our women in there some kind of way and let everybody know how much we love them and thank God for them.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Okay.
Look, because she has to put up with Pastor Jeff. Look, I know you real well. I can. She is. I mean, I've met your wife Chastity, I think, once. She is so sweet, and for you all's personalities, your wives are the perfect women for you. I really believe it. I really honestly believe it. Seriously.
Total opposites.
We are the perfect balances. Total opposites.
Yeah, because you guys are like, and they're like,
Yeah, and I used to get so mad when the kids were doing something, and I'd be on 10, man. I'd be like, do you see what's going on? How come you're not mad? Why did it? And she's painting.
Yep.
I'm like,
say it, Pastor Jeff. Preach the word, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm like, do you see what's going on here? And it's like, there ain't no room for me because you up there.
It's like you already on level 100. So if I go up there, then we just go blow the roof off the place.
There
So,
it is. There it
God
is.
gives us what we need.
When she does ignite, though, it's like,
not
whoa,
pretty.
whoa.
Yeah, I can believe that completely. But I'm so grateful that the two of you guys came. I'm so glad that y'all were on today. I had fun. Y'all got to come back.
No
Listen, that's
problem.
that's what I was getting ready to say. See, we took it easy on y'all today, ladies. We took it real easy. We answered all the questions all nice and polite. But let me tell y'all something. Don't have us. Make sure y'all invite us back now, or we will take this show over. You feel me? No, I'm teasing, but I'm serious.
And take the bonnets off. Take the bonnets off.
You know what? Get off.
Take the bonnets. No, if I could,
Take your bonnets off.
Let me say this. To those fathers and to the mothers, err on the side of caution.
Yep.
You only get one shot at this, in all honesty.
Right.
And we're living in a very strange time. And I'm not proud at all of the decisions that I made. Sometimes I made myself look like a fool, but I did it out of caution. I did it because I love them. And I said no to some things that, really I didn't have to if I would have thought about it. But, Pastor D knows this now because his children are young, and man, it's scary times, man. And so, err on the side of caution, do it out of love, and talk to your children, moms, dads, talk, communicate. Tell them what you really going through. Tell them and be honest. Listen, I don't know. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know. But let's pray about this. Let's not be afraid to trust God and invoke God into the situation. And let's talk about it and see if we can come up with a solution from this that we both agree to. And I'm with it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say, Pastor D? Yeah.
I would say I would speak up for any father that I had to grow up with not having. If you aren't in your child's life for whatever reason, make it right. Don't wait. Don't wait till they older. Don't hide behind your mistakes or be afraid. Like, make it right now, because like myself, like Pastor Jeff, like so many, even though we learned great lessons from fathers being absent, the ones that we wanted, not the ones that God gave us instead, but the ones that we wanted, the ones that we wanted to look in the stands for and see them rooting us on, or at the parties with all of the stuff. Make it right. And not just with your kids, but make it right with the women, and just however you need to make that right, because we were also those kids for 18 years, always still looking for you and having to battle those emotions while watching other kids with their whole families. But even though it's produced greats, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But we would rather be great with you than without you. So true. I would say that to any of the fathers out there, that's a big heart space for me, is if you're not in your kid's life for whatever reason, make it right. And don't stop. Persevere, keep pushing, because kids will know. They'll know.
That's right. Well, thank you both. Pastor Jeff and Pastor D came on today. They tried to somewhat take over my show at the end. Ladies, y'all, when we see them, you got to come behind them and give them a little nudge and say, I see what you was trying to do.
Keep it sexy. Keep it sexy.
We coming back.
Keep it sexy.
We coming back.
Sexy.
I need volume 2, volume 3. Don't be afraid of us. Don't be scared.
Volume 2, the raw, uncut version.
The raw, uncut. There it is. There it is right there, Doc.
No bonnet. Negligee. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? I'm so over you. Get off our show. Get off of here now. I'm about to X you out. We're about to cut you out all the way, Pastor Jeff.
Keep it holy and keep
But-
it sexy.
Mhm. But we definitely gonna have to bring the two of you guys back because y'all have so much a wealth of knowledge and information, especially from the male perspective. And we got it from a father perspective today, but we got to bring y'all back to talk about some other stuff because I got a feeling we got some really good topics that we can talk to you guys
You're gonna have
about.
to send those
We're gonna-
questions to my agent. We gotta filter those questions first. We gotta filter those, Doc.
No, we
They'll
coming
try to
all
throw
the
us
way.
some
We coming all the
curveballs.
way. We're gonna come all the
Oh,
way. But I
y'all
appreciate you
for
guys
having
for
me.
being on today. And I thank you all for
Yeah.
tuning in to the Pink Table Talk. Make sure that you watch us right here every Friday, 11:30. We love y'all. Have a great, great, great day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.